Hey, this is Josh.
And this is Sam. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of bonus content. For the first season, we're doing The Lost 20. Star Wars video games, that is. And by Lost 20, I mean top 20 best and favorite, of my opinion.
To make sure we have as much to talk about as possible, we'll start with Sam's most favorite and work our way down to his least favorite. And since his most favorite is KOTOR 1, or rather Knights of the Old Republican, a game he's played again and again and again and again.
7 times to be precise.
Oh, you've been counting. And that means you could easily fill up a half hour with stuff to talk about it.
Alright, so where should I begin? Probably about the fact that this game was set for about 4,000 years before the events of the movies. So that is pretty much the time frame of when Knights of the Old Republic is set place. But what was happening during those events? Well, basically, to get to the story about what happens in Knights of the Old Republic, we have to go back a bit further. So the Republic was at peace for a bit. Then the Mandalorians attacked. The Mandalorians bombed planets, murdered children, and basically were a pain for the Republic. So the Republic went to war against the Mandalorians. The Jedi would have gone, but they decided, no, the Mandalorians are too big of a problem. The Mandalorians are not that big of a threat. There are no Darksiders. And we have to keep watch of the Sith. So the Jedi flat out refused to go to war against the Mandalorians. Also, because they recently got done with another war, the Great Sith War, which had taken a toll on both the Jedi and the Republic. But then this one Jedi named Revan defied the Council and led his own Jedi movement, consisting of his own apprentice, Malak, into war against the Mandalorians. When Revan and the Jedi movement entered the war, the Mandalorians stopped gaining foothold in the galaxy and started being pushed back, all the way back to Malachor 5, where the Jedi finally defeated the Mandalorians at the Battle of Malachor 5. Peace returned, and Revan and Malak went to go explore something in the unknowns. It seemed that everything was perfectly fine. The Republic defeated the Mandalorians. Peace was finally achieved, or was it? A few years later, Revan and Malak returned as Darth Revan and Darth Malak, leader of a Sith force that attacked the Republic. Revan and Malak and their Sith Empire took a large chunk of galactic territory and were nearing Coruscant when the Jedi came up with an idea. They would send a strike team to capture Darth Revan. They would send a strike team after Darth Revan, but then something happened, and it appears that Darth Revan has been killed. Darth Malak now leads the Sith, and he has taken more ruthless tactics. Malak has been beating back the Republic from one planet to another. Jedi were either killed by Malak and his Sith Empire, or they gave in to the dark side and swore allegiance to their new leader. It was a time of crisis for the Republic and the Jedi Order. So the Republic and Jedi need to rely on a new hope to lead them to victory against these dark times where the Sith are winning and the Republic and Jedi are losing. That's where you come in. You play as a random character who starts out as a soldier or smuggler or, a hire for the Republic. You then meet your first companion, Trask Olgo, who tells you that the ship you're on, the Endar Spire, is under attack by Sith forces, which it is, because Malak wants this one Jedi named Bastila, who is also your commanding officer and one of the few Jedi that knows something called Jedi Battle Meditation, which is a big deal. It can help the Republic and the Jedi defeat the Sith who just keep coming and coming and coming. So, you and Trask have to find Bastila, but Bastila's already made it off the ship. She's capable. She knows what to do. Then Trask is killed by one of the Dark Jedi Malak sends after you. Did I mention Darth Malak is sending Dark Jedi to lead his Sith Trooper forces against you? No? Well, Darth Malak has an army of Dark Jedi, but he and his apprentice, who I will get to later, are the only two Sith Lords in the galaxy. So, this is basically the rule of two before the rule of two. Yeah, so after losing Trask, you meet a new ally, Karth. Karth has seen a lot of action. He's a veteran of the Mandalorian Wars, and he's one of the few Republic officers that is still loyal to the Republic, because the rest of them joined the Sith. Because a lot of them joined the Sith, okay? So you and Karth go to this planet, Terrace. Yes. Terrace, which is a city planet. Basically, while you're there, you're stuck there. Under Sith quarantine, you are not allowed to leave the planet. You have no transportation. You got there from escape pods. And you're both basically supposed to scout your way around the planet. Help people with gang problems. Speaking of gangs, there are 3 gangs on Terrace. The Becks, the good guys. The Vulkars, the bad guys. And the Exchange, the worst guys. So you have to help a few people with problems with the Exchange and some... Oh, and you also get to compete in a dueling arena on Terrace. Yeah, you also get to complete dueling arena on Terrace. Help people with a bunch of problems. Help the lower levels with the Vulcar problems. Help the underlevels dealing with the Rakghoul infestation, which are a bunch of angry, mindless beasts that spread a virus that could turn anyone into a Rakghoul. So that's an infection problem that Terrace has been having. Yeah, you meet Mission and Zalbar, who help the Hidden Becks defeat the Vulkars. Then you're recruited. Yeah, then a Mandalorian, ex-Mandalorian, Canderous Ordo, recruits you to work for Davik. Also, Canderous wants to get off this planet as much as you do, so that's something you have in common. You buy a utility droid T3 and break into the Sith base. Canderous says, Davik's noticed you, so you go to Davik. He shows you the Ebon Hawk, the new ship he got, which is currently the fastest ship in the galaxy. So as you relax on Terrace, Malak arrives in his flagship, Leviathan, and says, you know what, forget the search for Bastila, we're bombing Terrace. So that's what the Sith do. So you have to race against race to the Ebon Hawk, deal with Davik and Callow, and get to the Ebon Hawk before you're bombed into oblivion by the Sith. So then you go to Dantooine, find out you have force powers, so you must be trained as a Jedi. But some of the Jedi don't think that should happen. For example, Master Vrook, who's basically a douchebag, who just says who also called you old and then said, you're on the path to the dark side. Master Vander, who has complete and utmost faith in you, respect for Vander. Also, Vander's the same species as Yoda and talks normally like Yaddle. So then you are to complete your Jedi tests to become a Jedi, cleanse the ancient grove, in which you find your newest companion, Juhani. Go find these things called star maps on Dantooine, Tatooine, Kashyyyk, Manan, and Korriban, which lead you to this ancient weapon called the Star Forge, which has been taken under the control of the Sith, led by Darth Malak. And it's how Malak and Revan were creating their infinite Sith fleet to roll across the Republic and beat the Republic back on anywhere the Republic was located. So basically, find the star maps, find the Star Forge, destroy the Star Forge, save the Republic. It's basically the goal of the game.
And that's as far as we're willing to go into the plot in order to avoid spoilers. Okay, so I don't want to spoil the big plot twist, which is too bad because that's the most fun thing to talk about with this game. So how about we go through the main characters, starting, of course, with the companions. Okay, if we just do HK-47 now.
Yeah. HK-47 is a companion you get on Tatooine. So when you go to Tatooine to find the star map there, you have to go on this one of the major quests on Tatooine is the Zerka Corporation, who controls Tatooine and is thinking about leaving because they're not finding any treasure on Tatooine. Zerka Corporation, being a big corporation that they are about to leave Tatooine, but they're having problems with the local people. And by local people, we mean sand people. So, basically, Zerka wants you to kill them. And you're like, yeah, and you're probably like, okay. Or you're like, no way, I'm not going to kill these guys. They did nothing wrong. So after Zerka gives you the order to kill them and bring back their gaffy sticks as trophies, this one Duro says, hey, I'm against Zerka's colonization of Tatooine, and I'm all for the whole, and I'm a loyal friend of the Sand People. And basically, I know a way how to stop this without bloodshed. Just talk to them. So you're like, I don't understand Sand People, and where can I find someone? The Duros point you to Yukalaka's shop, which owns a translator droid. That translator droid is HK-47, or so he says he's a translator droid, but once you get enough credits to purchase HK, he reveals, ha, surprise, I'm not a translator droid, I'm an assassin droid. Also, you're my new master, so what shall I kill, master? And you're like, okay, I guess this will work. So then you go to Tatooine, negotiate with the Sand People. If you choose the violent route, HK-47 will be thrilled because he loves killing organic meat bags. He absolutely loves it. But if you choose the pacifistic route, HK-47 is bored out of his mind and hopes you would let him kill something. He's basically a murder droid.
Alright, okay, how about Jolie Bindo?
When you go to Kashyyyk and find out more about Zalbar's past, while also trying to find the star map of Kashyyyk, in the Shadowlands of Kashyyyk, you run into an old Jedi who is fighting Katarn, the local beasts on Kashyyyk. That Jedi is named Jolie Bindo. When you first approach Jolie in the Shadowlands, you're thrilled that you find another Jedi, but then Jolie says, oh, I'm not a Jedi, I left the Order a long time ago. And Jolie has a whole story behind that. But first he says, I'll help you with finding your star map because I've been here long enough to know that, yes, there is a star map here and I've seen it. But you must help me first with a problem. These Zerka guys are poaching tack in the Shadowlands. And the worst part is, they're getting into my lawn. So I want you to tell Zerka to get off my lawn and leave. Well, there are two options you can do this. The violent route, which is you kill the Zerka workers. Yeah, which Jolie does not approve of because he made specific instructions to do it non-violently. Then there's the pacifistic route where you just deactivate the barriers and let the animals chase him off. Where Jolie's like, hey, I didn't hear any gunshots. You did well. Jolie can also help you with tech skills, deactivate barriers, and when you finally reach the star map, he is stunned to find out that the star map recognizes you, but rejects him. Also, Jolie has a long, complicated past. He was a Jedi back during the Sith War against Exar Kun. Before that time, he met his wife, got married, and then his wife joined Exar Kun when Exar Kun started talking about his own Sith talking about the new way of teachings, which were the Sith teachings. Jolee fought his wife, but refused to kill her. The council granted Jolee the rank of master, and told Jolee this might be an important lesson for you to learn because we told you not to train her, and yet you trained her. So this is an important lesson to listen to the council. Jolee said, "No, I don't want your rank of master. I don't want any part of this. I'm leaving." So Jolee left the order and has been on Kashyyyk for a long time. Also, on Manan, you run into an old friend of Jolie's who tells Jolee that her husband, a Republic officer, a noble Republic officer, has murdered a Sith officer in neutral territory. According to Selkath law, that is punishable by prison life imprisonment, or even death. So you have to find out what really happened and try to clear Sunri's name. Turns out Sunri did do it, and Jolie's actually not that surprised. He's all like, innocent or guilty, the truth will come out soon. Sunri's guilt is more powerful than any trial. So Jolie's a bit of a complex Grey Jedi character, and a fun companion to have around.
Very interesting. But what about Juhani?
Juhani you meet on Dantooine. She's the dark presence in the Tainted Grove that you've come to cleanse. After you defeat Juhani, she realizes that there's more power in the light side than the dark side. So you recruit Juhani as your newest companion, but you can also kill Juhani and cleanse the Ancient Grove. Juhani actually lived on Taris. Well, actually lived on KOTOR before it was attacked by the Mandalorians. Then lived on Taris, where her parents were indebted to Davik, and she was taken as a slave. But then the Jedi, led by Revan, came to Taris and saved her life. That inspired Juhani to become a Jedi. Speaking of slavery on Taris, one of the slavers on Taris recognized Juhani when, on this one part where you take her as a party member, on one mission, she runs into one of her old slave masters who wants his property back. And that's basically a big test for Juhani. A big test for her not to fall back to the dark side again. Because she's had a hard life and has a lot of emotional feelings to go through, along with dark side temptations. Her entire quest, your quest is finding the star maps. Her quest alongside you is trying not to fall back to the dark side again. She really sees you as a hero in this.
Ah, that's sweet. Okay, next on the list is Canderous Ordo.
Canderous Ordo was the Mandalorian mercenary you met on Taris who worked for Davik. Canderous took you to Davik once you completed his side quest of infiltrating the Sith base, then helped you steal the Ebon Hawk departure codes, and helped you escape Taris. Canderous was a Mandalorian during the Mandalorian Wars, who fought in a lot of conflicts in the Mandalorian Wars. He attacked planets, destroyed cities, killed people, but he thought that was boring because the Republic wasn't doing anything about it. But then Revan and the Jedi movement joined the Republic and started pushing the Mandalorians back. That's when Canderous thought things were going to get exciting, and he was excited to fight in every battle in the Mandalorian Wars up until Malachor 5, which he says is his greatest moment of all time. Not because the Mandalorians lost or were defeated, but because they were defeated by Revan, who Canderous claims as a champion of the Jedi, and Canderous would be honored, said he would be honored to serve Revan. So, but after the Mandalorian Wars, things got dull again. He was a mercenary for Davik. He thought things were boring, didn't feel much excitement, but then you came and helped him escape Terrace, and then Canderous thought, things are getting exciting again. So Canderous has a lot of war stories to tell you about his time in the Mandalorian Wars. And yeah, Canderous is a war veteran who loves to follow you into battle.
Very good. All right, on to will probably be the shortest one, T3M4.
T3 is a droid you get on Terrace who helps you into the Sith base. He's basically your personal astromech droid who follows you around and helps you with a lot of technical problems. T3 is a tech whiz and is basically like the KOTOR's version of R2D2. Yeah, T3 is also a very loyal droid to you.
All right, and now we're heading back to Kashyyyk with Zalbar's story.
Zalbar didn't really have much of a big story on Terrace. He just showed up with Mission as Mission's sidekick, was fleeing something. He and Mission stuck together, worked for the Hidden Becks, escaped Terrace together, but when we get to Kashyyyk, it turns out Zalbar has this big unfinished storyline on Kashyyyk. He is a Wookiee prince. He and his brother Chundar are the sons of the Wookiee chieftain, but then Zerka came to Kashyyyk and started enslaving Wookiees. Chundar worked with the slavers, and when Zalbar found out, he was angry enough to hit Chundar with his claws, which is basically heresy in Wookiee culture. Zalbar was declared a Mad Claw, which is a blight upon Wookiee culture because Wookiee claws are supposed to be used for building, construction. They're supposed to be used as fingers, not as claws. So Zalbar was banished from Kashyyyk by his father. Then his father found out Zalbar was telling the truth about Chundar, stood against Chundar, but then Chundar banished him to the Shadowlands. Chundar became chieftain and allowed Zerka to do whatever they wanted on Kashyyyk. Zalbar came back with you and stood up to his brother. You went to the Shadowlands to find the chieftain, but was captured. You went to the Shadowlands to find the chieftain, who was Zalbar's father. Zalbar's father stood with you. Then Zalbar broke free of his chains, and there was a big battle between Zerka's slavers, Chundar, your entire party, Zalbar, and Zalbar's father, where Zalbar and his father killed where Zalbar killed his own brother, Chundar, and Zalbar's father gave Zalbar Baka's blade, which is a ceremonial rite of leadership in Wookiee culture. So Zalbar is now the prince and heir to the throne, heir to the title of chieftain on Kashyyyk.
All right, and now for, depending on who you ask, either the funniest or the most annoying character in the game, Mission Veo.
Mission, she was a street rat on Terrace. She got into a lot of things, learned a bunch of tech skills, learned how to pickpocket steal, and learned every square inch of Terrace. Navigating each base, each shop. She met Zalbar, where Zalbar was being attacked by Gamorreans. She tried to fight back, but one of the Becks actually it's the Vulkars. The Vulkars were attacking Zalbar. Mission tried to fight back, but one of the Vulkars grabbed her. Then Zalbar got angry and beat one of the Vulkars. Actually just lifted up the Vulkar, showed the Vulkar his bad breath, the Vulkar fainted, and then the other one just left. That's when Mission and Zalbar became a dynamic duo. These two learned how to pickpocket, navigate every square inch of Terrace, worked for the Becks. Then they met you in the underlevel. Then Mission met you in the underlevels when she and Zalbar were visiting the cantina. Then Zalbar got captured by Gamorrean slavers, and Mission wanted you to help free Zalbar. So when you free Zalbar, Zalbar swears a life debt to you. So you get Mission and Zalbar as your newest companions, who help you defeat Brejik and the Vulkars. Later, it turns out that Mission ran into her brother Griff's old girlfriend, Lena, who told her the story about Griff. Griff was Mission's brother. They spent a lot of time on Terrace together. They were running from something. So Griff was actually the one that taught Mission all those valuable skills of pickpocketing, stealing, and scheming. Griff also met Lena on Terrace sometime, and the two of them left Mission behind. Mission blames Lena for it, but when Mission meets Lena again, she tells Mission that it's all Griff's fault. He ran out of money and just left Lena, just like he left Mission. So Mission goes to find her brother and finds out that Griff has been taken by the Sand People after being hired to work for Zerka. Griff was a terrible employee at Zerka, was captured by the Sand People. When Mission confronts Griff, Griff tells him, yeah, well, I did leave you on Terrace, but I was going to come back when I got enough credits, but credits have been scarce lately. So Mission is angry at Griff, and when Griff asks you to help him, Mission thinks, oh great, it's another one of Griff's schemes. If you help Griff, it doesn't go well for him. There's something contaminated in his new fizzy drink that he's been trying to sell, and he's back to square one. Mission does appreciate you trying to help, though. Mission knows you're a good person inside and out, depending on the choices you make.
And now for your first ever companion, not counting Trastelgo, of course, Carthonasi.
Carth was a military veteran during the Mandalorian Wars. He served under Admiral Saul Kareth, who was his mentor and his commanding officer. After the Mandalorian Wars, Admiral Kareth returned alongside Darth Revan and Darth Malak as a Sith officer and tried to recruit Carth. Carth refused, and Saul Kareth and Darth Malak then Saul Kareth and Darth Malak led the Sith fleet straight to Telos, which is Carth's home planet, and bombed it. Carth, his wife, and his son tried to flee, but the Sith killed his wife, and his son went missing. So because of that, Carth has a vendetta against his former admiral, Saul Kareth. He also has a vendetta against Darth Malak and Darth Revan for what they did to his home planet, for the fact that they killed his wife and the Republic couldn't do anything about it. That also gave him major trust issues. So you're trying to work with Carth through all that throughout the mission. Also on Manan, you find out Carth's son is alive, and he's joined the Sith as a Sith student. When Carth meets his son on Korriban, his son is not happy to see him. He thinks that Carth left his mom and Carth's wife to die. Thinks Carth left his wife, Carth's son's mom, to die, but Carth's trying to prove him that isn't true, and that the Sith are evil. So you have to work hard to come up with evidence that the Sith are evil. When Carth's son sees it, he's all like, I'm done with the Sith, but I'm also not going to make up with you. I'm going on my own. So, yeah, that's a mess. So yeah, Carth's family becomes a bit of a mess after that, but Carth's all like, I hope that my son will try to forgive me. Carth, in the end, becomes a hero for his brave actions.
And saving the best for last, Bastila Shan.
Bastila is a Jedi Knight who was also the Jedi Knight that killed Darth Revan, or so-called killed. She was leader of the Jedi Strike Team sent to capture Revan when Darth Revan died. So Bastila was also your commanding officer aboard the Endar Spire, escaped, was captured by the Vulkars, sold into slavery, and you had to rescue her, although she says she rescued herself. She's also whiny, annoying, and basically had the Jedi mantra drilled into her. Even though you and and your other companions are trying to make fun of her, Bastila will not rise to any bait. Repeating the Jedi mantra, there is no emotion, there is peace. Bastila finds out that you're force sensitive, and after Terrace is destroyed, she takes you before the Jedi Council to see if you will be trained as a Jedi. The Jedi Council trains you as a Jedi and even assigns Bastila as your partner. Even assigns Bastila as your partner for the missions to find the star maps. On one mission, we find out that Bastila had a mother and a father who she loved and a mother who she was not on good terms with. That was before the Jedi took her, when she was very young. And turns out her father was killed in some hunting expedition, and Aduros was angry about this one woman who matched Bastila's mother's description, being a complete jerk at the cantina on Tatooine. So Bastila visited her mother, was still not on good terms with her. Those two argued a lot, and after you got Bastila's father's datacron and handed it to Bastila's mother, she revealed that she was dying, so you told her to go to Coruscant because there's some good medical doctors there. So, yeah, Bastila's mother then leaves you with the words, "Take care of Bastila." Well, Bastila's all like, "I don't need anyone to take care of me. I could do things myself." Then on Kashyyyk, nothing really happens with Bastila. Manan, you can't take Bastila. Well, Bastila does have a problem with water in Manan. She can't swim. Also, after the big revelation, Bastila gets captured. Then after a long torture by Darth Malak, becomes Darth Malak's new Sith apprentice and falls to the dark side. So in the last step, you find Bastila. So in the last step of your journey, you find Bastila, but she's become Darth Malak's Sith apprentice. You have to face her in the Star Forge and prove to Bastila that there's still light left within her. Eventually you and Bastila realize you have feelings for each other in the Star Forge, fall in love, take down Malak, and save the galaxy.
And that's all the time we have today. Tune in next time for
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
that'll be a fun one.